Hey, it's Ethan here. So, as you know, I'm a huge fan of Andrew Loomis, and his book Drawing the Head and Hands is a classic in portrait drawing. If you don't own a copy already, I highly recommend you get one and study from it. There's a ton of illustrations in there that you can copy and learn a lot from. But if you're a beginner, it might be a bit overwhelming and maybe you might not know where exactly to start. So I thought I'd do a short video series where I go through some of these illustrations and show you how to draw them step by step. We'll start with some really simple drawings and then gradually work our way up to the more complicated drawings. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to be drawing from page 14 of the Loomis book. This head we're drawing is labeled Heavy Jaw. First, I'm going to create a rough block-in of the overall shape of the head. What I'm looking for here is the overall proportion. For instance, how wide is the head relative to the height? Also, I'm looking for the big angles and gestures. So with this head, the chin is going to be jutting out quite a bit and the head will have a very square shape to it. And now I'm going to go in and sculpt this shape to bring it closer to the contour of the reference. I'm still keeping an eye on the overall proportion and not getting too lost in the details. For heads like these, I prefer the block-in method over the Loomis method because it has such an obvious boxy shape that just jumps out at you. So it makes more sense to just capture that shape with a block-in rather than starting with a circle first and then having to carve the circle to get it closer to the actual head. The Loomis method is better at dealing with perspective, so I'll be using it more when I'm drawing a head in some dynamic angle. Okay, so now I'm coming back and filling in the details and adding in the features. So as you can see, we're pretty much drawing over the top and changing the rough block-in quite a bit. So the rough block-in was just sort of a scaffolding to help us get our bearings. And then as we dive deeper into the drawing, we made a lot of changes. And I'll take the measurements of the features to help me place the ear. And now that we have the features and ear drawn in, it's much easier to finish out the back of the head. Now, for the final stage of the drawing, I'll clean up and darken the lines. Here, I'm not just making all the lines equally dark, instead I'm creating line weight variation where some of the lines are darker and some are lighter. This will help give the drawing more interest and depth. Loomis does this as well in his drawing, and one of the benefits of doing a study like this is that you can observe how he uses line weight variation and incorporate that into your own drawing. And lastly, I'll use a darker 4B pencil and put a thick outline around the outer edge. Again, this just adds another layer of variation to the line weight and makes the drawing pop more. And we're all done. If you want to learn more about portrait drawing, check out my Portrait Fundamentals course. It's a very beginner-friendly course that walks you through all the basics of portraiture, from constructing a basic head, facial proportions, drawing the features, and finally drawing a realistic portrait step by step. You can learn more about it by going to mydrawingtutorials.com/portrait or clicking on the image on the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy drawing.